Miles in the snow every day to practice. There were no locker rooms. The balls had laces, and the shoes were made of canvas.
What's canvas?
And there were no foot lockers.
No foot lockers.
No foot lockers.
No foot locker. Whoa, you guys had it rough.
Nobody's got more basketball shoes or more experience selling basketball shoes than Foot Locker, where it all begins.
You guys have commercials, right?
Cold, yeah, no heat.
From the beginning, it has been one of sport's most magical events. Bringing together the game's most spectacular players, it provides the ultimate in basketball showmanship.
Oh, my goodness.
Its sensational plays.
That's a play that only Julius could make.
Its dramatic events.
Goes up a prayer and it goes in.
And its unforgettable finishes have become part of basketball lore. No event has stirred the excitement of fans around the world quite like the All-Star Game. Foot Locker presents NBA All-Star Action, the greatest players and plays. The foundation of every All-Star is a dream, born in the heart of a child and nurtured by a loving worship of one's hero. But as these young men grow to ultimately replace the stars they look up to, few ever get the opportunity to thank them for their inspiration.
What's your most memorable Dr. J move or story? Don't lie.
Probably the most memorable moment, story.
Make it short, though.
Of Dr. J was probably the camp that he did in Lansing. I ain't lying. That man jumped. It looked like to me from about the top of the key. And he was just in the air. And the kids was. And he said, come on. You in the air now.
That's the doctor.
You know it.
The 1987 All-Star Weekend in Seattle became an emotional homage to the legendary Julius Erving.
Number 6, captain of the Philadelphia 76ers, Julius.
Standing there, having all this happen to you, for you, I was truly overwhelmed from the beginning to the end, and it seemed as though it was indicative of the thought and feeling that I wanted to leave with my basketball public.
In his final All-Star appearance, Dr. J would provide a fitting farewell performance, and a career of greatness could be summed up with only one word.
There was such great respect for Julius, his professionalism, the way he carried himself, his concern for people that has had an impact and will have a great impact for many, many years in the NBA.
But any further congratulations from his constituents were temporarily put on hold, as this All-Star Game became a legendary contest of can you top this?
I'll tell you, the excitement in this game coming down.
But stunningly, it was hometown supersonic Tom Chambers, named to the game as a last-minute replacement, who eventually took charge.
I was excited, really excited in Seattle because it was in front of the home crowd, and then I was just happy to be a part of it. It was my first time around.
But on this weekend full of memories and this court full of superstars, the role of hero was still up for grabs.
Mark is coming here with it. Rondo to the corner. Mark, you set the pitch. Outlet, and you got to come to it. So Mark and James are setting the pitch. You okay with it? Okay?
With time running out and the West down by 2, it would be Rolando Blackman who would drive into All-Star history.
The buzzer went off simultaneously as the foul was called, and I knew there was 2 shots to go. Immediately, a guy started talking trash. I mean, it was Isaiah in my face talking trash. And I remember Magic like, no, you're not going to get him. You ain't going to talk to him. And I'm hollering over his head, oh, you going to miss it. You going to miss it.
9 of 11 from the line is Blackman. He needs to make both.
Magic is saying, hey, Isaiah, stay away from my man. I don't want...
I think throughout that whole time, I was just trying to concentrate on what I had to do and hit the 2 free throws. And if you look at the tape once more, you'll see that I was yelling, confidence, baby, confidence. That's what I was yelling because I knew that the second free throw was going, and I was able to come through.
Blackman's confidence would prove to be contagious as Tom Chambers resumed his heroics to help earn the West its first overtime victory. And himself MVP honors. If 1987 was one of All-Star's most emotional weekends, 1986 would be one of its most historic, as this year would see the addition of one of its most compelling contests. The 3-point shootout would measure contestants' long-range accuracy as well as their nerve and determination. Battling not only each other, players would also compete against the clock and, ultimately, themselves. And no player seemed better suited to face its rigors than Larry Bird, one of the game's deadliest shooters and toughest competitors.
The double team in Bird. Larry, fake, fall away.
I consider myself one of the better shooters in the world, and if it comes down to the last second shot, I'm the guy they should go to because I feel I'm the guy that's going to hit the shot.
Williams to Bird again. Up fakes. Fires another 3-pointer.
Whoa! Ties it up!
And that's where I think that you eliminate the men from the boys down there in the game.
Bird's the man they want to have it. Yes, indeed.
Bird for 3. Yes! Larry Bird for 3 with 4 seconds to go. Celtics lead it by 1.
Imagine the arrogance, the wonderful arrogance of a man who needs 2 to tie or 3 to win, has the time to do either one and says, let's roll the dice.
Appropriately, as the inaugural contest began in Dallas, Bird would launch the first salvo by boldly predicting that the winner's trophy would belong to him.
He wants every advantage, whether it be a technical advantage, a physical advantage, but more importantly, a psychological advantage.
While his competitors wilted under the pressure,
He's going to be in big trouble. No way for him to make it into the final.
Bird breezed his way through the early rounds.
Hey, I knew Bird was going to be in the final. I said that before he started. He was going to be in the final.
His opponent in the finals would be Craig Hodges, who would not be able to withstand Bird's brash words.
Craig Hodges having difficulty here in the finals.
Or his torrid shooting.
And now Larry Bird, and look at the concentration. Looks like he's found the mark, Bill. He is like a machine, and the results are almost like a machine. He's really got it down to a science. He is smoking.
The hired assassin with the sharp eye is firing it on target today.
That's why they call him the Bird Man.
That chick's had my name on it for a week now, and I knew I was going to win this thing. I've been practicing, and my teammates said I wasn't going to win it, but I came back and lucked out, really.
Bird's good luck would continue the next year, as he again made his way to the finals. And though this time he would be forced to shoot first, he would still seize the advantage.
Let's count him as he goes. That's 2, 3.
He's off to his best start. I told you, don't let him in.
5. And that's 7 points.
Detlef Schrempf is lost right now. He's finished, Bob. He can't win this competition.
Characteristically, Bird would put the pressure on his opponent.
Has 11. Down to the end of a minute. That's 12. 13. It's going to be close. 14.
He makes this. It's
He
a tie.
needs this one. No! Larry Bird will win it on the miss of the 2-point ball at the end. Larry Bird defends his championship.
He had the last shot, and and he took a $12,000 shot there and missed it.
With 2 trophies now on his mantelpiece, Larry would go to Chicago Stadium in 1988 looking for a third. But as he watched Dale Ellis pile up a 15-point final round,
Dale's got the stroke going.
But he has been buried right now.
Bird faced an uphill battle in his quest to defend his crown.
He's all over the place in this track. Usually,
He certainly doesn't have that normal Bird rhythm going for himself.
He does not. At 25 seconds remaining, has only 7, has to beat 15.
That's 8. Make it 9. And 10. 11 as we're counting. 13.
huge rack that time for Bird.
He's still got to drop one here quickly. 14. This is a tie for the money. Yo!
Larry Bird at the buzzer with the 2-point ball. 17 to 15. Defends the long-distance shootout crowd at Chicago Stadium.
Ice water in his veins. The man is really spectacular. 3 times in a row.
He knew it when he let it go and was headed for the winner's circle.
Injuries would prevent Bird from continuing his streak the next year. But he had helped launch one of All-Star Weekend's most popular events, and will always be remembered as one of its founding fathers. During the 1984 All-Star Weekend in Denver, the NBA held its first mid-air convention, the Slam Dunk Contest. Over the years, the contest would become a marquee event that showcased the league's preeminent skywalkers in an aerial display of gravity-defying acrobatics.
Look at the hang time. Look at the flying motion.
As an entrant in the 1986 contest, 5'7" Spud Webb seemed the most unlikely participant in the history of the event.
No one in the gym, no one watching on TV, no one sitting home on their big lazy boy chair think you can win.
Taking center stage before the game's premier players, he would face off against the league's highest flyers.
Dominique, the reigning champion.
Stansberry going to be tough to beat that one.
Now there's the flare. Now that was power and flare. Again, here's...
Though his taller competitors all seemed better equipped to impress the judges, Spud was undaunted.
You know, I knew the repertoire of dunks I could do. And, you know, I figured if I got the first one, that I had a chance.
And now, Spud's first attempt.
Oh, my! 5'7", Spud Webb.
Oh, double clutch two-hander. See what Spud comes up with.
Oh, yes.
Hey, what I tell you?
Spud's unexpected brilliance electrified the crowd and captured the imagination of all those who watched him.
I mean, he gets so high off the ground, it's like he's going up forever.
And now his once confident opponents scrambled to keep up with him.
That takes care of Gerald Wilkins, the ruling.
But in the finals, he would face his teammate and defending champion Dominique Wilkins in what seemed to be an obvious mismatch.
Oh, mercy.
But again, Spud would rise to the occasion.
360 for Spud Webb.
Damn, I gotta go out with something more nasty than that.
Dominique.
It's got to be a 55. He took off just...
Whoa! The best of the day in my view.
Take that, little guy.
Dunk after spectacular dunk, Spud would somehow match his superstar teammate.
And Spud Webb comes through in the clutch. A 50 for Spud Webb, and a deserved mark for sure.
And unexpectedly, it would be Dominique who would falter first.
And the judges have awarded Dominique Wilkins a 45.
That's incredible.
Now, alone on center stage, Spud would add a spectacular ending to one of sport's most unlikely Cinderella stories.
Little fella, you get done, I'm leaving.
High toss and lob and reverse. Yes, come on now, come on. Oh my, that's the cherry on the sundae.
Our new slam dunk champion was an incredible upset. Spud Webb.
Spud's triumph would forever place him in lofty company alongside some of the game's most spectacular dunkers who in over a decade of dunks have provided a highlight reel of great moments.
Started, let's go! I'm shaking in my chair!
Oh, here's Dominic. Let's watch this. Ooh, that's what I'm talking about. The ultimate entertainer.
Can you believe it? My goodness!
This one looks like a good one.
Yes!
Now see, that's good. That's big time right there.
That's creative.
See, here comes. Yes!
Give me that!
While many a dunker has made their mark in the contest, the two players who have become synonymous with slam dunking supremacy are Michael Jordan and Dominique Wilkins. In 1985, Neek reigned as king of the slam, while in '87 it was Jordan's turn. But those contests were only a prelude to their ultimate and final showdown, held in Chicago, Michael's hometown.
Probably one of the best slam dunk contests, there have been.
Sensational clutch pump! He put it up with one hand and he put it in!
Two people who has tremendous creativity, and you never know exactly what's going to happen next. It was a fun rival.
Michael Jordan!
You see it as a Dominic Wilkins, Michael Jordan show.
Down low, Dominique, he jams!
We went at it hard.
And this is what the crowd's been waiting for. The championship round. There will be a coin flip to determine who goes first. And Dominique is going to give a little running start to this one. Not much, though.
And the perfect score of 50 on that dunk from Dominique Wilkins, now the defending champion.
Don't let it get the edge. You can't get the edge.
Well, we're still even as Jordan goes up and takes it way down and then hammers it home over the top.
I gotta do the windmill. Hold on. I gotta do the windmill.
Ooh, they were impressed enough to give him a 50, his second 50 in the three-dunk championship competition. Oh, look what's going through his mind. He said earlier, sometimes he doesn't decide until he's in the air. Looked like a figure 8 with the double clutch. A 47 was awarded on that dunk.
That's the 50th I've ever seen one.
Don't worry about it.
Final round, Dominique Wilkins. The judges have awarded Dominique Wilkins a 45.
That's
incredible. Could we call it a make good?
It was the best dunk of the night. I had 50 on the 2 previous dunks, but hey, judge see different things on that.
Here's the story. Michael Jordan needs a 48 to tie, a 49 to win. And he misses. He does get a replacement.
I'm gonna tell you, straight up, he will not miss this. You can count on that, buddy. Go ahead, baby.
Well, the crowd lets you know what they think of it. Now we will wait for the judges. 48 ties, a 49 wins. Michael Jordan scored 50. They gave him a 50. They gave Jordan a 50. He defends his championship.
I could have won it, but it was a tough situation, tough town to win it in.
The 1991 All-Star Game once again brought the sport's premier performers together at the league showcase event. But while the NBA's best would once again put their talents on display, this year they would have to do it under the most difficult of circumstances. Less than a month before, the Persian Gulf War had begun. And back in Charlotte, this 41st edition of the All-Star Game would clearly take on a special meaning.
We're just trying to play our part, and hopefully that we can bring some joy, some laughter, and smile to their hearts and minds, and maybe ease some of the tension that they're going through.
The NBA and its players have dedicated the 1991 All-Star Weekend to the brave men and women of our armed forces serving in the Persian Gulf and to their families. Today's game is being broadcast live to our troops and Armed Forces Radio and Television.
From the start, this contest was played at a fever pitch.
Drexler trailing the play, and that's timing only teammates can exhibit. It's the eye contact. Jordan. Away with the basket. Here's Hardaway. Robinson. Off a great pass.
Keeping it alive, finding Ewing.
But perhaps it was Charles Barkley who best expressed the emotion of the day.
It was great because the troops got a chance to see the game. I hope it took their mind off that stuff for 2 hours. That's what sports is about. Persian Gulf War is real. Sports are entertainment.
And for 2 hours, Barkley would entertain the troops with his trademark reckless abandon.
And Magic has the rebound. Barkley rejects it.
Charles coming out on fire. Oh, what a move. Barkley with the spin.
And the block to Barkley. Malone got a hand on it. Barkley got it back, and there you go.
A sensational play by Barkley.
Finds Jordan. Great pass from Barkley for the jam.
Late in the game, Charles would cap his performance with an exclamation point.
Barkley, all the way.
And when it was over, he would add his own punctuation mark to the day.
I hope everybody had a really good time today, and I hope I hope this situation in the Persian Gulf puts sports in perspective. Hopefully, sports will get back in its proper context, what it is, entertainment. And I hope for 2 hours today, the troops over in the Persian Gulf and the fans can forget about everything and just enjoy themselves.
Throughout their illustrious careers, Isaiah Thomas and Magic Johnson became known as two of the game's most brilliant entertainers.
Here's Isaiah. Let's see what we got. All the way up. Goal! That is incredible.
And perhaps they were at their best on All-Star Weekend. With a combined 23 appearances, they could always be counted on to carry the show.
What a super shot!
Magic and I, what we really wanted to do in every game was to really bring the fans into it and try to make the fans feel what we were feeling out on the court. I mean, make them really feel, you know, Isaiah's energy and Magic's energy and, you know, giving them that type of high energy, fast-paced game, it was entertainment. You know, it was entertainment. I think the fans and the television audience loved it.
And once Isaiah gets into his rhythm, he's unstoppable. And he really becomes the showman then, the entertainer. And Isaiah has that ability to just take over and just get a crowd not only money's worth, but more.
In 1984, Isaiah would put on one of his greatest performances as he led the East to victory and was selected the game's best player. But it would be 2 years later that he would play his most significant All-Star contest.
The All-Star game in Dallas, I was in the mid-range of my career, and it was in that point where not only are you fighting the best players in the NBA, you're fighting the perception that little people aren't, you know, ever going to win championships.
Desperately laboring to bring his Pistons a title, Thomas had helplessly watched as Larry Bird and Magic Johnson had won the prize he coveted. And as Isaiah headed for the game, he was looking for a much-needed boost in confidence.
I went out there that day, and I had a game. I played really good with the best guys in the NBA.
6-point lead. Thomas goes all the way in.
That's Isaiah at his best. A smiling assassin, I call him.
Thomas steals the ball. Isaiah all the way. Isaiah Thomas. Isaiah Thomas is a show unto himself so far in this ball game.
Topping even his 1984 performance, Isaiah found renewed determination for his championship quest.
That All-Star game for me was kind of the point where I said, I'm going to keep climbing.
Thomas again. He's amazing. Isaiah Thomas is our most valuable player of this All-Star game.
Ever since I was a kid, you know, I played hard, I practiced, but never in all my wildest dreams could I ever imagine that something like this would ever happen to me 2 times in my lifetime. I remember hugging my mother and embracing my mother. It just all like came out of me.
I'm so proud of you, son. I'm so proud of you. I'm so proud.
I said to myself after that game, you know, I can do it. You know, I can beat these guys.
Don't cry. Don't cry. Be happy. Just be happy.
Isaiah would indeed ride his emotional all-star performance all the way to championship glory. For Magic, however, an all-star MVP appeared to be one of the few awards that would elude him. Though he had been named to the team 11 times, his sudden retirement before the '92 season seemed to end his chance of ever being chosen the game's most valuable player.
Because of the HIV virus that I have attained, I will have to retire from the Lakers today.
Though Magic received a stirring retirement ceremony, the final act in his dramatic NBA career had yet to be played. While he did not participate in the season, amazingly he would still be voted to perform in the All-Star game by his adoring fans. And as he arrived in Orlando, he was immediately the center of attention.
Magic playing in the game, so
I think I answered more Magic Johnson questions than he probably answered. And all I could say was, hey, I'm happy the guy's here. I'm happy that he's playing the game of basketball. I respect him so much. And I just wanted him to get the enjoyment of being back and playing amongst the guys.
The day before we actually played the game, we had a practice session. And we worked pretty hard that day, and we put in, you know, some fast break stuff and some offensive stuff. And Magic really needed that because he was a little rusty, and it gave him a chance to work a good hour and a half, you know, in a competitive situation.
Welcome to the Orlando Arena and the 1992 NBA All-Star Game. And today, from the Magic Land and the Magic Kingdom, we have a game that will feature the Magic Man.
It didn't take Magic long to feel at home. But even his extensive all-star experience could not prepare him for what was to come.
One of the greatest players of all time, making his 12th All-Star Game appearance,
it was just great to see him out on the court, and I wanted to be a part of that. I wanted to be something special to him on that day because of our friendship. And not only did I want to be a part of it, but I wanted to make sure that the rest of the players were a part of it.
Led by Isaiah, each member of the East All-Star team paid a rare tribute to their former opponent.
Oh, it was great. It was great. I can't even describe it.
You know, it's not really what they say. It's just the hug and the high five. You know, that's what you need. That's what gets you going.
Rising to the occasion as he had throughout his career, Magic reached back for one of his vintage all-star performances.
Boy, he is really sharp. Magic from Magic. He knows where you are all the time. I'll find you.
What a perfectly timed pass. Oh, my! Right down the middle.
No doubt about this one.
There it is. There's the three.
Magic got his three.
For that moment.
2 in a row for Magic. He's going for the MVP.
And fittingly, as the game reached its closing moments, Isaiah helped him cap his remarkable day.
One-on-one, Isaiah against his buddy Magic. Magic raises his hands triumphantly.
They're all taking a shot at the Magic
Man. Oh, now it's Jordan against Magic.
He was asking for more than he can accept, so I just kind of took it easy.
The crowd on its feet. Well, this is a mismatch, and Magic would be the first to admit it.
And that's two, Magic said. Bring the next one on.
It was great to see him just in heaven again. I mean, because when he's out on the basketball court, you can see it all over his face. He's in heaven.
And the final shots of Magic's career were the most remarkable of all.
Magic hits another. Hocus pocus. Irvin Johnson. Showtime in Orlando. The final seconds.
Michael said, "You're not getting it."
Yes, he is. 6-5. Three-pointer. Yes! Oh, my! Can't orchestrate it better than that. But when you're great, you deliver on cue.
Maybe you'll see me back, maybe you won't, but I'll remember all these good times this afternoon. I'd like to thank you for sharing this with me. Thank you.
Hey, when I was coming up, I walked 15 miles in the snow every day to practice. There were no locker rooms. The balls had laces, and the shoes were made of canvas.
What's canvas?
And there were no foot lockers.
No foot lockers.
No foot lockers.
No Foot Locker. Whoa, you guys had it rough.
Nobody's got more basketball shoes or more experience selling basketball shoes than Foot Locker, where it all begins.
You guys have commercials, right?
Cold, yeah, no heat.